Jack Collins never planned to buy children. He stood on the busy trading floor of Centauri B station, feeling out of place among the noise and crowds. 3 years had passed since pirates attacked his cargo ship and killed his wife Diane. The pain remained fresh, like an open wound that refused to heal. Jack came to this station only to deliver medical supplies, not to visit the infamous galactic adoption market that operated in the lower levels. Yet something pulled him down there after his delivery was complete. Perhaps it was simple curiosity, or maybe the lonely echo of his empty ship waiting at the dock. The market existed in a gray area of galactic law. Different planets had different rules about adoption, guardianship, and the transfer of parental rights. Here on Centauri B, those rules stretched thin, allowing practices that would be illegal elsewhere. Jack moved through the market with growing disgust. Bright displays advertised children from dozens of worlds. Most were orphans or refugees from war zones, but not all. Some had been given up by parents who could no longer feed them. Others had been sold by families looking to profit. He was about to leave when he spotted them at the end of a row. 2 small girls sat close together on a metal bench. They had matching auburn hair and green eyes that reminded Jack painfully of Diane. A glowing sign floated above them. Earth-born twins, age 8, healthy, partially educated, must be sold together by Sundown. The girls wore simple gray jumpsuits and held hands tightly. They did not cry or call out like some of the other children. They watched the passing crowd with quiet, careful eyes. A trader approached Jack, noticing his interest. "Fine specimens, those 2, the man said. His name tag read Gil Porter. Father died in the Proxima mining accident last year. Mother remarried some corporate executive who didn't want extra children around." Jack felt sick. "Their mother sold them?" "Stepmother," Gil corrected. "Got the paperwork signed last week. She seemed quite eager to be rid of them. But they're good stock. Healthy, smart enough. No behavior problems." "What happens if they don't sell by sundown?" Jack asked, though he already knew the answer. Gil shrugged. "Labor transport leaves tonight. Mining operation on Vega 6 is always looking for small hands for equipment maintenance." Jack had heard about those operations. Children sent there rarely survive to adulthood. The work was dangerous. The conditions brutal. How much? The words left Jack's mouth before he fully formed the thought. 20 minutes later, Jack stood, with the twins in the transport bay where his ship was docked. Their few belongings fit in one small bag. The girls had not spoken a single word since he signed the papers. "I'm Jack Collins," he said awkwardly. "Captain of the Dawn Treader. That's my ship over there." The girls stared at him with identical, wary expressions. "What are your names?" he asked. The slightly taller twin spoke first. "I'm Lily Miller, this is Lucy." Lucy gave a tiny nod but stayed half hidden behind her sister. "Well, Lily and Lucy, I guess we should go aboard. It's getting late." Jack felt completely unprepared. What did he know about caring for children? He lived alone on a cargo ship, taking whatever jobs came his way. His life had no stability, no safety, yet he couldn't leave them here. Not to be, shipped off to certain death in the mines. The twins followed him up the boarding ramp in silence. The ship's entry hatch opened with a hiss of air. "Welcome back, Captain," said the ship's AI system. "I detect 2 additional humans." "Yes, Vega. These are Lily and Lucy Miller. They'll be traveling with us." "Traveling to where?" Lily asked sharply. Jack realized he hadn't thought that far ahead. "Well, I have a delivery scheduled for the Earth colony on Proxima B. After that, I'm not sure. Where would you like to go?" The girls exchanged a glance that seemed to contain an entire conversation. "We don't have anywhere to go," Lucy said softly. It was the first time Jack had heard her voice. "Our dad died, and our mom died before that. Our stepmother said we were a burden," Lily added. "Are we your workers now?" "No," Jack said firmly. "You're not workers or servants, you're passengers." The word felt wrong, but he didn't know what else to call them. He showed them to the small storage room connected to his quarters. Years ago, he and Diane had planned to convert it to a nursery. After her death, Jack had filled it with boxes he never unpacked. "I cleared some space," he said, gesturing to the two narrow cots he had hastily set up. "It's not much, but we can make it better. Tomorrow I'll empty those storage containers and give you more room." Lily inspected the space with critical eyes. "It's bigger than our room at home." "Our last home," Lucy corrected quietly. Jack left them to settle in while he went to the galley to find food. His supplies weren't meant for children, but he found protein packs and fruit that might appeal to them. When he returned, the twins had placed their few possessions nearly on one cot. They sat on the other, still holding hands. "I brought dinner," Jack said. "We can eat in the common area." The girls followed him to the ship's small dining table. They ate carefully, taking small bites as if afraid the food might be taken away. "What happens to us when you get tired of us?" Lily asked suddenly. The question hit Jack like a physical blow. "I won't get tired of you." "Our stepmother said she wanted children until she actually had to live with us," Lucy whispered. Jack set down his fork. "Look, I don't know much about being a parent. I never got the chance, but I promise I won't sell you or abandon you. We'll figure this out together." He didn't know if they believed him. Trust would take time. That night, after showing them how to use the bathroom facilities and where to find extra blankets, Jack retired to his quarters. Through the thin wall he heard whispers as the twins talked to each other. Jack lay awake for hours. What had he done? He knew nothing about raising children. His ship was no place for girls to grow up. He had no family, few friends, and barely enough credits to keep flying. Yet for the first time since Diane died, Jack felt something besides grief. These girls needed him, and maybe though he couldn't admit it yet, he needed them too. Outside the ship's viewport, the sun of Centauri B had set hours ago. Jack had brought the twins home before sundown, just as the market required, but this was only the beginning of their journey. The first week aboard the Dawn Treader passed slowly. Jack tried to create a routine for the twins, but he had no idea what children needed. He set meal times and sleep periods that matched the ship's cycle. Beyond that, he felt lost. Lily and Lucy remained quiet and watchful. They followed his instructions without complaint. They kept their small room tidy. They never asked for anything. This good behavior worried Jack more than if they had been difficult. On the 8th day, as they ate breakfast in the galley, Jack decided to break the careful pattern they had fallen into. "We need to talk about what happens next," he said. The twins froze, their spoons halfway to their mouths. "Are you taking us back?" Lily asked. Her voice was calm, but her knuckles turned white as she gripped her spoon. "No," Jack said quickly. "Never that. But I need to know what you want." The girls exchanged their silent twin communication that Jack still couldn't read. "We don't understand," Lucy said. Jack ran a hand through his hair. "My ship is no place for children. It's small. It's sometimes dangerous. I have to take whatever jobs I can get, which means we never stay anywhere for long." "Where else would we go?" Lily asked. "There are good families on Earth and the colonies, people who know how to raise children, who have homes with other kids, schools nearby, parks to play in." "You want to give us away?" Lucy whispered. "No," Jack said. "But I want you to have choices. Better choices than you had before." Lily put down her spoon. "Our dad was a mining engineer. We lived on ships and stations most of our life. We only went to Earth when he died." Lucy nodded. "We don't need parks, we just need to stay together." "And you won't sell us again?" Lily asked. Jack felt sick at the question. "I will never sell you or give you away unless you want to go. This ship can be your home for as long as you want." For the first time, he saw the twins relax slightly. "Can we see how the ship works?" Lucy asked. Jack smiled. "Yes, in fact, I could use some help plotting our next course." After breakfast, Jack took the girls to the bridge. The Dawn Treader was a mid-size cargo vessel, built for efficiency rather than comfort. The bridge had only 3 stations: pilot, navigation, and communications. Jack lifted the twins one at a time, to sit in the pilot's chair. He showed them the controls, explaining what each one did. To his surprise, they asked smart questions and seemed to understand his answers. "Our dad taught us about ships," Lily explained. "He said we needed to know in case of emergency." "He let us practice on simulators," Lucy added. Jack felt a new respect for their father. "He sounds like a good man." "He was," Lily said simply. Over. The next few days, Jack discovered more about the twins. Though identical in appearance, their personalities were different. Lily was protective and practical, always watching out for her sister and thinking ahead. Lucy was quieter but curious, absorbing everything around her. Both girls showed an aptitude for mathematics and spatial reasoning that impressed Jack. He began giving them simple problems to solve and tasks to complete around the ship. Vega, the ship's AI, adapted quickly to having children aboard. The computer adjusted temperature controls in their room and modified the food synthesizer to create more child-friendly meals. The Miller twins show above-average intelligence for their age group, Vega reported to Jack, while the girls were sleeping. Their education appears to have been inconsistent but advanced in certain areas. "What about their emotional state?" Jack asked. "Inconclusive data," Vega replied. "They exhibit signs of past trauma, but are adjusting to their new environment." Jack knew the AI couldn't truly understand human emotions. He had to rely on his own observations, which weren't much better. He had avoided forming connections since Diane died. 2 weeks into their journey, the ship encountered an ion storm. The Dawn Treader shook as energy waves battered the shields. Jack was in the engine room when the storm hit, trying to boost power to the stabilizers. When he returned to the bridge, he found the twins strapped into the navigator's chair. Lucy was reading shield levels from the display while Lily entered commands. "What are you doing?" Jack asked, more surprised than angry. "Adjusting shield harmonics," Lily said without looking up. "The storm has a frequency pattern. Vega showed us how to match it." Jack checked the readings. The girls had indeed found a pattern in the storm and adjusted the shields to minimize damage. It was something he might have tried himself if he'd had time. "Good work," he said. "Both of you." That night, after the storm passed, Jack heard crying through the wall. He knocked softly on the door to their room. "Everything okay in there?" The crying stopped immediately. After a moment, Lily called out, "We're fine." Jack hesitated, then opened the door anyway. The twins sat on one cot, Lucy with tear tracks on her face, Lily with an arm around her. "What's wrong?" Jack asked, kneeling to be at their eye level. "Nothing," Lily said firmly. Lucy was crying. "That's not nothing." Lucy wiped her eyes. "I had a bad dream about the storm. It reminded me of when our dad's ship had an accident." Jack realized they had never spoken about how their father died. "Do you want to talk about it?" "No," Lily said. At the same time, Lucy said, "Yes." Jack waited, letting them decide. Finally, Lucy spoke. "There was an explosion at the mining site. Dad got everyone out, but then he went back for someone who was trapped. The roof collapsed," Lily continued when Lucy couldn't. "They found his body 3 days later." "I'm very sorry," Jack said. He wanted to comfort them but didn't know how. "Your father sounds brave." "He told us to always look after each other," Lucy said. "That's what we're doing." "You're doing a good job," Jack assured them. "But you're not alone anymore. You can ask for help too." That night marked a change. The twins began to open up more, telling Jack stories about their life before. Their mother had died when they were 4. Their father had raised them on his own until his accident when they were 7. Their stepmother had seemed nice at first, but quickly grew tired of having 2 extra children in her home. Jack shared stories too, carefully at first, then more freely. He told them about growing up on a farming colony, about joining the merchant fleet as a young man, about meeting Diane when both their ships docked at the same station. Slowly, the Dawn Treader began to feel less like a temporary shelter and more like the beginning of something new. Jack didn't know what to call it yet. Not quite a family, but no longer merely captain and passengers. As they approached the jump point that would take them to their next delivery, Jack made a decision. He would keep the girls with him, at least for now, and he would do everything in his power to give them the security they deserved. 3 weeks into their journey, the Dawn Treader received an urgent message. Jack was in the galley with the twins when Vega's voice came through the ship's speakers. "Captain, incoming distress call from Science Outpost on Kepler 8b. Jack moved quickly to the bridge, the twins following close behind. On the main screen, a woman with tired eyes and a dirt-smudged face appeared. "This is Dr. Maya Wells at Kepler 8b Research Station. We have a medical emergency. An unknown fungus has infected 5 of our team. They're dying, and our medical supplies aren't working." Jack checked his cargo manifest. "I'm carrying medical supplies bound for Proxima Colony. The station has identified that you're carrying MX-42 antifungal compound," Dr. Wells said. "It's our only hope. We've already lost 2 people." Jack didn't hesitate. "We'll divert to your location. Estimated arrival time." He checked the navigation. "Computer. 18 hours if we push the engines." "Thank you," Dr. Wells said, relief clear on her face. "We'll send landing coordinates." After the transmission ended, Jack plotted the new course. It would take them straight through the Ophiuchi sector, an area known for both pirate activity and Maseri patrol ships. The Maseri were a non-human species that claimed that section of space, even though Earth colonies existed there first. "Is it dangerous?" Lucy asked, watching Jack's face. "A bit," Jack admitted, "but those people need help." "Our dad said never ignore a distress call," Lily stated. "Even if it's risky." Jack smiled slightly. "Your dad was right, but I want you two to stay in your quarters while we're in the Ophiuchi sector." The twins exchanged their silent communication look. "There's a safer route," Lucy said suddenly. "Through the asteroid field," Lily added. "Dad showed us." Jack shook his head. "Too dangerous. No ship this size can navigate that field safely." "Dad could," Lily insisted. "He taught us how to map safe passages." Jack hesitated, then pulled up the star charts on the main screen. "Show me." The twins approached the display. With surprising confidence, they began pointing out patterns in the asteroid field, explaining how certain groups moved in predictable ways. "The big ones move slow, see?" Lucy traced a path with her finger. "If you time it right, there are corridors that open and close." Dad called it threading the needle, Lily added. "He made it into a game." Jack studied the patterns they showed him. It was risky, but they were right. If timed correctly, a ship could pass through gaps in the field, cutting the journey time nearly in half. "Vega, run a simulation using these projected asteroid movements," Jack ordered. The computer displayed a simulation showing the Dawn Treader navigating through the asteroid field. The projected success rate was 78%. "Not bad," Jack admitted, "but still risky. Better than meeting pirates or Maseri warships," Lily pointed out. Jack couldn't argue with that logic. "All right, we'll try it your way, but you'll both stay strapped. In on the bridge. I might need your eyes." 6 hours later, the Dawn Treader approached the edge of the asteroid field. Massive rocks, some as big as small moons, floated in seemingly random patterns. Jack reduced speed and activated all sensor arrays. "Ready?" he asked the twins who sat at the navigation station. They nodded, faces serious and focused. "Vega, record all asteroid movements and update projections continuously," Jack ordered. "Beginning approach." The ship moved forward slowly. Jack's hands were tight on the controls, every muscle tense. The twins watched the sensor displays calling out corrections. "Large group moving left at 2 o'clock, Lily said. "Speed increasing on the cluster ahead," Lucy added. "We need to drop 5%. Velocity." Jack followed their guidance, impressed by how calmly they worked together. The ship weaved between massive rocks that could crush them instantly. Twice they had to stop completely to let asteroids pass in front of them. Halfway through the field, warning alarms blared. "Rogue asteroid approaching from below," Vega announced. "Collision course." Jack yanked the controls, sending the ship into a steep climb. They missed the main impact, but the asteroid clipped their rear section. "Damage report," Jack called. Communications array damaged, Vega replied. External sensors operating at 60% capacity. Jack cursed under his breath. We need those communications to contact the science station. Can it be fixed? Lucy asked. Yes, but someone needs to go outside the ship, Jack explained. An EVA, extravehicular activity. While we're still in the asteroid field? Lily looked alarmed. We'll pause in this clearing, Jack said, guiding the ship into a relatively empty pocket in the field. The array needs to be repaired before we reach the station. Once the ship was stable, Jack turned to the twins. I need to suit up for the EVA. You two stay here. Vega will maintain position. What if something happens to you? Lucy asked quietly. Jack hesitated. He hadn't considered that possibility. If anything happens to me, Vega will activate emergency protocols and take you to the nearest Earth outpost. We'll watch through the viewport, Lily said firmly, and tell Vega if anything changes with the asteroids. Jack nodded, then headed to the airlock. The repair would be tricky, but not impossible. The communications array was located on the ship's outer hull exposed to space. In the airlock, he put on his EVA suit, checking all seals twice. Before sealing his helmet, he spoke to Vega. Keep them safe. That's priority one. Understood, Captain, the AI replied. Outside the ship, Jack moved carefully along the hull, using magnetic boots to stay attached. The damaged array came into view, a bent antenna and several loose connection panels. He began working quickly, aware that they couldn't stay in this position long. Through his helmet comm, he could hear the twins speaking to Vega, monitoring asteroid movements. They sounded calm, professional even. After 20 minutes of intense work, Jack reconnected, the final wire. Testing communications, he said. Signal restored at 85% capacity, Vega confirmed. Sufficient for contact with the science station. Good, I'm coming back in. Captain, Lily's voice cut in urgently. Large asteroid cluster approaching from starboard side. 2 minutes until impact zone. Jack looked up, seeing the cluster, moving toward their position. I'm heading back to the airlock now. He moved as fast as he dared across the hull. When he reached the airlock, the twins' voices came through again. 1 minute to impact, Lucy reported. Vega, we need to move. The ship 30 degrees port. Executing adjustment, Vega replied. Jack felt the ship begin to move beneath his feet. He grabbed a handrail as the motion threatened to throw him off. Wait for me to get inside. No time, Lily said. The cluster is accelerating. Jack held on as the ship turned away from the incoming asteroids. The movement saved them from direct impact, but Jack's grip on the handrail slipped. For a terrifying moment, he floated free of the ship, tethered only by his safety line. Captain! Both twins cried out. Jack activated his suit thrusters using short bursts to guide himself back to the hull. He grabbed the airlock handle and pulled himself inside, sealing it behind him. When he returned to the bridge, still catching his breath, he found the twins still watching the sensor displays intently. You moved the ship, he said. We had to, Lily explained. The asteroids would have hit us. You did the right thing, Jack assured them. Perfect timing, in fact. For the first time since he'd met them, both girls smiled, small but real smiles that reached their eyes. Captain, Vega announced, we are now clear of the asteroid field. Estimated arrival at Kepler 8b research station, 4 hours, 12 minutes. Jack sat in the pilot's chair, feeling a strange mixture of pride and wonder. You two are officially part of my crew now, he told the twins. Not passengers, crew. Does that mean we get paid? Lily asked, her face serious. Jack laughed, surprised by the question. Yes, I suppose it does. We'll work out terms later. As the Dawn Treader set course for the science station, Jack realized something had changed. The twins weren't just orphans he'd rescued on impulse anymore. They were becoming essential parts of his ship and his life. The science station on Kepler 8b was a collection of domed buildings on a rocky, windswept planet. Jack landed the Dawn Treader on a flat area near the main dome. He prepared to deliver the medical supplies while the twins waited on the ship. Stay inside and keep the doors locked, Jack told them. I won't be long. We want to help, Lily protested. The air here isn't safe without breathing masks, Jack explained, and we only have one adult-sized mask. The twins reluctantly agreed to stay aboard. Jack took the container of medicine and went to the station. Dr. Wells met him at the airlock, her face showing relief when she saw the supply box. Thank you for coming so quickly, she said, leading him inside. You may have saved several lives. Jack saw the infected researchers in the medical bay. They lay on beds, their skin covered with blue-green patches. Medical staff moved quickly to prepare the antifungal medicine. Will they recover? Jack asked. With this medicine, yes, Dr. Wells assured him. Without it, we would have lost them all by tomorrow. The station offered Jack payment and supplies for his trouble. He accepted fuel cells and fresh food, which would be welcome after weeks of synthesized meals. After making sure the medicine was working, he returned to his ship. The twins greeted him eagerly, asking questions about the station and the sick people. Jack explained everything as they prepared for departure. Next stop, Proxima Colony, Jack said as they lifted off. We're already late with our regular delivery, but they'll understand the emergency. The journey to Proxima Colony took 5 days. During that time, Jack continued teaching the twins about ship operations. He was impressed by how quickly they learned. Lily had a talent for engineering, while Lucy showed skill with navigation and communications. They reached the colony and delivered their remaining supplies. The colony administrator, an older man named Ben Harris, was a friend of Jack's. Those are some fine helpers you've got there, Ben said, watching the twins help unload cargo. They're my crew now, Jack said simply. Ben raised his eyebrows but didn't ask questions. He invited them all to dinner at his home that night. The twins were excited to eat real food cooked in a real kitchen. Jack and Ben talked about business, while the twins played with Ben's cat, the first animal they had seen in months. It was a pleasant evening, almost normal. The next morning, they prepared to leave Proxima Colony. Jack had accepted a job transporting machine parts to Earth's orbital station. It would be a long journey, but well paid. As they were loading the new cargo, a colony security officer approached. Captain Collins, I need to speak with you. Jack followed the officer to the security office. There, on a screen, was a familiar face, Patricia Miller, the twins' stepmother. This woman has filed a claim against you, the officer explained. She says you illegally purchased her children. Jack felt cold. They are not her children. She sold them on Centauri B station. I have the paperwork. She claims the sale was invalid, the officer said, that her signature was forged, and that you kidnapped the children. That's a lie, Jack said firmly. Nevertheless, we've received an official request from Earth authorities. The children must remain here until the matter is resolved, Jack argued. But the colony was bound by Earth law. When he returned to the ship, 2 more security officers were there explaining the situation to the confused twins. Jack, Lucy cried when she saw him. They say we have to go with them. It's temporary, Jack tried to assure them, though he wasn't sure himself. There's been a misunderstanding about your stepmother. We're not going back to her, Lily said fiercely. She sold us. She doesn't want us. You won't go back to her, Jack promised. I'll fix this. But the twins were taken to a colony care center, while Jack was ordered to remain on Proxima until the matter was resolved. His ship was secured at the dock. He couldn't leave even if he wanted to. Jack went immediately to Ben Harris for help. I need a lawyer, he said. Ben introduced him to Sarah West, a colony lawyer who specialized in family cases. Jack explained everything, how he found the twins at the market, the documentation he received, their time together on the Dawn Treader. The paperwork from Centauri B is legally questionable, Sarah admitted after reviewing the documents. That station operates in a gray area of law. What about the fact that she sold her stepchildren? Jack demanded. Isn't that illegal on Earth? It should be, Sarah agreed. But if she claims she was coerced or that the signature is forged, it complicates matters. Jack was allowed supervised visits with the twins at the care center. They looked smaller somehow, more vulnerable in the sterile building. Both girls were angry and frightened. "You said we wouldn't go back to her," Lily accused. "I meant it," Jack said. "I'm fighting this, but it might take time." "She's lying," Lucy said quietly. "She sold us because she wanted Dad's money." Jack looked at her sharply. "What money?" Lily explained. "Dad had insurance and a pension from the mining company. Mom was supposed to get it if something happened to him, but she died first, so it went to us. But we couldn't get it until we're older," Lucy continued. "Our stepmother was our guardian, so she controlled it. Dad's friend Mr. Hayden told us about it at the funeral," Lily added. "He said we would be taken care of because of Dad's policy." This was new information. Jack asked Sarah to investigate. Within days, she found the truth. Patricia Miller had indeed received control of a substantial insurance payout as guardian of the twins. After selling them, she had attempted to claim the entire amount for herself. That's why she wants them back, Jack realized. She found out she can't get the money without them. The case became more complicated. Earth authorities demanded the twins be returned for a full investigation. Patricia Miller hired expensive lawyers who argued that the colony had no jurisdiction in a Earth family matter. After 3 weeks of legal battles, Jack received the worst news possible. The Earth Tribunal had ruled in Patricia's favor on a technicality. The twins would be sent back to Earth on the next transport, due to arrive in 2 days. That night, Jack sat alone in his ship, feeling more helpless than when he had lost Diane. He had promised to protect the twins, and he had failed. His communication panel lit up with an incoming call. It was Ben Harris. "I may have found something," Ben said without greeting. "Patricia Miller has a gambling problem. She's deep in debt to some dangerous people." "How does that help us?" Jack asked. "Because I've discovered she's already arranged to sell the girls again, this time separately to different buyers. Once she gets them back and accesses their accounts." Jack felt sick. "Can you prove it?" "Not legally, not in time," Ben admitted. "But I have friends in Earth's Child Protection Agency. They're willing to act, but they need the girls in their jurisdiction." Jack understood what Ben was suggesting. It was risky, possibly illegal, but if he did nothing, the twins would face a fate worse than what he had rescued them from. "The transport arrives tomorrow at sundown," Jack said slowly. "I need your help, Ben." Jack worked through the night, preparing his ship and finalizing plans with Ben. By morning, he had gathered everything they needed. The transport ship from Earth would arrive at sundown, and time was running out. Ben introduced Jack to Ellen Quinn, a colony social worker who had been caring for the twins. She did not agree with the tribunal's decision and wanted to help. "The girls talk about you constantly," Ellen told Jack. "They trust you." "I promised I wouldn't let them go back," Jack said. "I intend to keep that promise." Ellen nodded slowly. "I can give you 15 minutes with them before the transport arrives. No guards, just a regular visit." That afternoon, Patricia Miller arrived on a private shuttle, ahead of the transport. Jack watched from a distance as she met with colony officials. She wore expensive clothes and jewelry, looking every bit the concerned stepmother reclaiming her children. Jack's friend Sam Kelly, a former navigator who now worked at the colony spaceport, joined their plan. "I've checked the transport's flight plan," Sam reported. "They'll stay overnight and leave tomorrow morning." "The release paperwork will be processed at 6, Ellen added. "Sunset is at 6:30. "Then we move at 5:45, Jack decided. "Ben, is your part ready?" Ben nodded. "The distraction is set. Environmental controls in the administration section will fail precisely at 5:45. At 5:30, Jack entered the care center for his final supervised visit with the twins. They sat in a small room, their few possessions packed in the same small bag they had brought onto his ship months ago. "Did you fix it?" Lily asked immediately. "Are we staying with you?" Jack looked at the security camera in the corner, then back at the girls. "I'm working on it," he said carefully. "But I need you both to be ready for anything. Can you do that?" The twins exchanged their silent communication look, then nodded. "Remember when we had to move quickly through the asteroid field?" Jack asked quietly. Sometimes you have to trust the path even when you can't see the whole route. Lucy's eyes widened slightly as she understood his meaning. Lily squeezed her sister's hand. At exactly 5:45, alarms began blaring throughout the building. The lights flickered, then switched to emergency power. Environmental system failure in sectors 1 through 4, announced a computerized voice. All personnel evacuate immediately. The guard stationed outside their room rushed in. "We need to move to the shelter area," he said. "I'll take them," Ellen Quinn said, appearing in the doorway. "You're needed at the front entrance." The guard hesitated, then nodded and rushed away. As soon as he was gone, Ellen turned to Jack. "We have 5 minutes before they realize this is a false alarm. Follow me." She led them through back corridors and service tunnels until they reached a maintenance exit. Sam Kelly waited outside with a ground transport. "Hurry," Sam said. "Patricia Miller is at the administration building raising hell about the delays." They climbed into the vehicle and Sam drove quickly but carefully toward the spaceport. No one spoke during the short journey. The twins sat close together, watching Jack's face for reassurance. At the spaceport, Ben Harris created another distraction, arguing loudly with security officers about restricted access. While attention was focused on him, Jack led the twins through a service entrance to where the Dawn Treader was docked. "Board quickly," Jack instructed. "Lucy, start the pre-flight sequence. Lily, secure the cargo bay." The twins moved with practiced efficiency, no longer the frightened children he had purchased at the market. Jack completed final preparations, then contacted the control tower. "This is Captain Collins requesting emergency departure clearance." "Denied," came the immediate response. "Your ship is under restriction pending legal proceedings." Sam's voice broke in on another channel. "Jack, they know. Security is heading your way. 5 minutes, maybe less." Jack made a quick decision. "Vega, override dock clamps using emergency protocol 37. "Warning," the AI responded. "That action violates port regulations." "Override accepted," Jack confirmed. The clamps released. With a loud clank, Jack fired up the engines, ignoring the frantic calls from the control tower. "Hang on," he told the twins. "This will be rough." The Dawn Treader lifted off with a roar, rising rapidly into the darkening sky. Below them, security. Vehicles converged on the empty docking bay. "They'll send ships after us," Lily said, her voice steady despite the situation. "We just need to reach the jump point," Jack replied. "Then we can disappear." But as they approached the outer atmosphere, sensors detected 3 pursuit vessels, launching from the colony. They were faster than the cargo-laden Dawn Treader. "They're gaining," Lucy reported from the scanner. "Intercept in 8 minutes. I only need 5 to reach the jump point," Jack said, pushing the engines beyond safety limits. A transmission came through on all channels. Patricia Miller's face appeared on the screen, her expression furious. "Return my children immediately." "Collins, you're making things worse for yourself and for them." Jack cut the transmission without responding. The twins watched him with worried eyes. "We won't go back to her," Lily said fiercely. "We'll fight if we have to." "No one's fighting," Jack assured them. "We just need to reach the jump point." And the pursuit ships continued to gain. Warning shots flashed past the viewport. The jump point was still 2 minutes away. Then, unexpectedly, other ships appeared on their scanners. Not colonial security, but merchant vessels. Dozens of them moving to positions between the Dawn Treader and the pursuit ships. "What's happening?" Lucy asked. Jack's communication panel lit up with incoming messages from captains he knew, and many he didn't. They had heard about the twins' situation through Sam, Ben, and others. Word had spread through the merchant fleet about a widowed captain fighting to protect 2 orphaned girls from being sold again by their stepmother. "They're helping us," Jack said, his voice thick with emotion. The merchant ships formed a corridor, blocking the pursuit vessels and creating a clear path to the jump point. It wasn't a military maneuver. They weren't attacking or threatening anyone, but their presence created delay and confusion. 30 seconds to jump point, Vega announced. A final message came through from Ben Harris. "CPA investigator is on Earth with the evidence. Get there safely." We'll handle things here. The Dawn Treader reached the jump point and activated its drive. The stars stretched and blurred as the ship entered hyperspace, leaving Proxima Colony behind. In the sudden quiet that followed, Jack turned to the twins. We're safe for now. We're heading to Earth to meet Ben's contact at the Child Protection Agency. What will happen there? Lucy asked. The truth about your stepmother will come out, Jack explained. And then we'll decide what happens next. We already know what we want, Lily said firmly. We want to stay with you. Jack smiled. I want that too, and I promise to do everything possible to make it happen. The twins moved from their stations and for the first time hugged Jack tightly. He wrapped his arms around them, feeling a surge of protectiveness and something else. Something he had thought died with Diane. Family. As the Dawn Treader sped toward Earth, Jack Collins looked down at the two small heads pressed against his chest. He had brought them home before sundown on that first day at the market. Now together, they would find a new home, a real one. The ship's computer quietly adjusted course. The stars rushed by unseen, and the small family held on to each other, heading toward whatever came next.